And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another installment of the NXP podcast. This is the second in what I can foresee into the future as a glorious, glorious trend of monthly podcasts. First things first, shout out to a homeboy who I can't recall his name, but he's going to show up in the comments section, who said we wouldn't make it for this month's podcast. But look at that. Here we are. The final Saturday of the month. We here. We live. So we're going to get straight into this. Let me introduce my panel. Flanking on my left, we got my boy, Danny D's World. What's going on, player?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Subscribe to Robot Co-op. Anyway.
There we go. All right. And then, this guy, he needs no introduction. The diva himself shows up at the very last minute. Rots 112. What's up, bro?
You know what? Fuck you for that diva comment, but but aside from that, what's going on, everybody? And once again, fuck you for the diva comment.
It's like, okay, darling, I am going to need 2 drinks sent to my trailer. No ice. And if there is ice, I will send them back. Hey, he's one step away from that, but I will say this, though, and I think I'll get back into Rob's good graces. This man just celebrated a birthday. So everybody clap. Another year on this glorious planet. And it is a very special year because, man, that Devil May Cry in just a few weeks. How does that feel, Rob?
Nah, that's my real birthday. I'm adopting March 8th as my second birthday.
Well, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are unfamiliar with the NXP podcast, it's a podcast where I get these dudes together once a month and we just speak on various gaming topics that went on throughout the industry. And it's so funny because normally we work down a list of all the topics that went on in the month, but February has been a pretty dry month with the exception of the past week. Like literally all the topics that we're going to be discussing today came from last week. And by last week, I mean literally this Monday. So
yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, let's just go straight down the list. Let's get into this right now. What do you guys want to start with first?
Well, first things first, a moment of silence for Crackdown 3, a burial 5 years in the making.
Oh, God. All right. Well, there we go. We're just going to dive straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, first topic of tonight is going to be Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 came out literally under the radar, which is so funny because I think Microsoft should gain an award for stealth dropping a game that's been in development for 5 years and nobody knew it was a thing until it literally came out and everyone was like, this game is a freaking disaster. So the game came out, I think it was last Friday, and the community was not kind at all. I think the game pretty much speaks for itself. So we're not going to go over, what went into why Crackdown was a mess. But I know, Danny, you've been, you got something to let out on Crackdown 3, man. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you, bro.
Yeah. First of all, how dare you do this to Terry Crews, man? How friggin' dare you? That man, so excited to have his own video game, so excited to be doing this. He just got into gaming not too long ago, like serious gaming, built himself a gaming PC with help from Reddit even.
Yeah.
He was so excited to be able to start playing video games with his son. They were going to bond doing that. So happy. And now he was finally getting to star in one. Dream come true for him. And it's this. It's this. It's something that you just squeezed out and left on the side of the road. Like, I can't believe you do that, first and foremost. Second of all, they lied. Okay? Microsoft straight up lied. Period. I don't care what anyone wants to say. I am sick and tired of all these media outlets, including Digital Foundry at first, ducking away from it. They would not touch the tech analysis. They would not touch Wrecking Zone. They would not touch whether or not the tech lived up to it until like days after the thing was out. And that irked me, especially since at first they were shilling for the game. John was, anyway, talking about how, it's so beautiful. It's like the best use of HDR I've ever seen. Oh, look how gorgeous this is. And it's like, meanwhile, you got people glitching through the landscape nonstop whenever there's any kind of action. And it's like, not even a ton of action. Like any kind of action, you can glitch right through the side of a mountain. You can glitch through a building. You can do what it was a mess. It was a technical mess. And yet they first praised it before they delved into that. But even then, nobody seems to be taking them to task, okay, for the fact that they massively downgraded all this. All that talk about the power of the cloud, all that talk about, they were all big up on that at first. And then everyone noticed it suspiciously went quiet. Then suddenly, right back onto the power of the cloud. This is going to be like a 12 times power boost, everything else. And you know what? It's not. It failed horribly. You got destruction that's maybe on par, if not worse, than Red Faction Guerrilla at times. Okay? Red Faction Guerrilla did destruction like that years ago. And was that wasn't that like an early PS3 game, or was that even a PS2 game?
That was the early PS3 game. I think the first 3 years of the life cycle.
Yeah, like early last gen, and that thing has like destruction on par with that game's multiplayer. And on top of that, 2 multiplayer modes. Like really, a game that you were like mostly selling, like the entire 2 selling points of this game: the multiplayer and oh hey look, a campaign starring Terry Crews. That was it. You were selling this mostly on your multiplayer and your multiplayer tech, and you were trying to sell the entire world on this cloud compute nonsense, talking about how you were going to up the visuals, up this, up that, which, by the way, I want to point out, Mark Cerny, way back when they first started talking about this, said that doing graphics with cloud compute was not something you could do. That man said, he said you could do physics, sure, you could do some physics computation, you could load stuff in the background, you could maybe help NPCs stay alive more organically instead of having to load them in from a static state whenever you approach a certain part of the game. You could increase immersion that way. But stuff like trying to use it as a glorified GPU was not something that was practical or possible at this time. People called him a liar, said he did not know what he was talking about, said that he was just saying that because he was afraid of what Xbox was doing, saying that he just didn't know they could do it because he didn't have Xbox money. And then, boom, this happens. And there it is. There it is. It's a mess. But hardly anybody will take them to task for that. YouTubers are taking them to task for it more than the gaming media. And yet I'm sitting here remembering another game that came out a few years ago, made by a small studio that, made a lot of lofty promises that they didn't live up to until recently. What was that called? No Man's Sky, a.k.a. No Man's Lie, a.k.a. Sean Murray was the new Peter Molyneux, a.k.a. Hello Games can never show their face again, etc. Microsoft has lied on the level of Hello Games, probably even greater, because at least Hello Games managed to bring their vision that they were promising closer to fruition over time. This is something
someone is telling me that the campaign and multiplayer were both developed from different teams. Good God.
They started development from different teams, but as I recall, Sumo Digital actually wound up having to take over both. But
so from what I understand, just looking at how many developers worked on Crackdown 3? I feel like it's more than just 2 or 3.
I mean, there was the one team that initially started the multiplayer, and then they wound up leaving. But according to them, that was all the role they were ever going to have, and it was always supposed to be taken over by Sumo Digital. Then you had Sumo Digital doing the campaign, and then supposedly a lot of people try to say, well, that was when Epic bought CloudGen, and it's like, but according to Microsoft and according to the people who were working on the game, Epic's purchase of CloudGen didn't matter because they had already done the work with that they needed. And it wasn't like it was going to get ripped out from under them just because it was made in CloudGen. They were allowed to keep it. So, that doesn't really. I don't know, man. It's just, it irks me so bad. Like, just wow. There are some real double standards going on in the coverage of these games.
That's what's definitely surprising to me more than anything. Oh, excuse me. Throughout the portion of the podcast for like the next 15 minutes or so, I will be putting myself on mute because I am eating. I just got off of work, so your boy is hungry. So excuse me for that, man. I just try to be as transparent as I can with you guys. But what really boggles me is like, oh, hey, Rob's back. That was weird.
Yeah, my apologies, everybody. I seem to have dropped for a minute. So,
It's all good, bro. So, as far as I'm concerned, Crackdown 3, I don't care about the game, but what I am most, what's making me laugh more than anything is what we're seeing from a corporate perspective as far as damage control from the game. I'm sure you guys are familiar with what Mikey Barra has been tweeting and the back and forth hypocrisy with him regarding the game.
bruh.
Mikey Barra is like
I
seriously
just, wow.
he's trying to dethrone Greenberg for the biggest
Yeah.
on the Xbox team.
Oh, that, for those who are unaware, we all know that all of these corporate heads, these figureheads, whatever, whenever their game gets good press, of course they'll be posting like, yeah, look at these reviews we're getting. Oh, we're in the 98th percentile on Metacritic. Oh, this is awesome. But the second that game gets critically panned from fans and the media alike, it's not that they go silent on it. They take it one step further and they try to deflect it. And they try to say, well, you know what? Reviews don't matter. A review is just one person's opinion.
Yeah,
Why can't you just play the game, experience it yourself? And oh, this is the biggest thing that's being thrown around right now. It's a Crackdown game made for Crackdown fans. First things first, I didn't even know there was a such thing as a Crackdown fan. Because
Crackdown fan.
it's just like,
What planet be that?
like, are there Crackdown channels? Like, the last Crackdown game was 2010. Like,
Like,
is anybody actively like playing it? So, okay, it's one thing to point out positive reviews and then ignore the negative reviews. But when you come in here and you attack games media and act as if their opinion doesn't matter and it's a game made for the fans, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a particular movie that came out? Oh, we're about to hit its 3-year anniversary.
Oh my
Wasn't
god!
there a movie that was like, screw the critics, this is a film made for the fans?
Yeah.
Rob, do you know what I'm talking about here?
I can think of several movies in one particular brand that fell under this.
So,
Uh,
Rob, while I devour this food, you want to give us your thoughts on this whole situation real quick?
I don't know. Did y'all just jump off Crackdown? Or were you talking about Microsoft as a whole?
well, we're kind of on Microsoft in regards to Crackdown.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a big dog in that fight. I was just, I, I'm, I just found it funny how they kept pushing Crackdown 3 specifically. They kept pushing it, but I wasn't seeing no gains from this game, and I kept making this running joke. I was like, going how the game was looking, they keep pushing it back. They just prolonging that 6 that they gonna get you. And ironically, a 6 is around the area the game started to be, and when the reviews came out. And so I don't know. I guess I was more so just eager to see if they can end up pulling like a strong exclusive out. But I mean, I'm just kind of iffy about it.
Just for the record, Rob, it actually is sitting at a perfect 660.
See, like, I mean, it's just one of those things to where it's like, usually you would at least see something like usually you'll see something go in the reverse where like it might look at strongest the first time you see it, and then like the downgrade, it just kind of constantly looked the same to me. But then again, Crackdown is not this juggernaut savior of a series that they thought they were gonna make it out to be.
Well, my thing with Crackdown 3 is that it shouldn't have been that, and yet they kind of made it that. They made it their hill to die on. They started bringing in all the celebrities to do the gameplay videos during the events. You might remember. That's when everyone first saw the gameplay, and they're like, "That looks like something off a friggin' Xbox 360. What are you doing?" And everybody got all mad and all pissy about it. And then the game comes out, and lo and behold, it looks like something off the Xbox 360. In fact, there's a channel that actually did do a direct comparison between Crackdown 1 and Crackdown 3 in terms of like just the gameplay and the physics and everything. And there are some things in Crackdown 1 that are not only like the same as Crackdown 3, but they're actually better. I mean, Yeah, like in Crackdown 1, like, you're supposed to be sprinting at like this superhuman speed almost, and like you hit a light post, and the thing would break off, but you would like trip and you'd go flying, and that's fine. That's whatever. Same thing when you'd hit like a you know uh parked vehicle or whatever. But in Crackdown 3, they sprinted right at a light pole, hit the thing, stopped dead in their tracks.
Yeah.
Like didn't even impact it or nothing. It's just like whoop, stop, and like the way bodies move when they're ragdolling and everything. It's a lot of this really feels like they ported it just straight out of Crackdown 1. It really does feel like an
I
Xbox
mean,
game.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like it seems like if you want a more thorough experience of what Crackdown 3 was trying to be, just play Saints Row 4 and put on the military outfit. So like,
Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to how Microsoft's been handling this, like Mike Ibarra, and it was the same thing with Anthem too, which of course he's got a vested interest in defending because they have the marketing deal for that, and they ask him about, all the stuff associated with the Xbox brand, and it's getting these low scores from critics, and he's like, I don't do reviews, I don't do critics, I don't think you should listen to like people you've never met before, and let them shape your opinion of the game. You need to watch the streamers and the Let's Players, and it's like, and it's like, you mean the streamers and the Let's Players that you quite literally sponsor to play your games? Like, I mean, EA has a dedicated group of streamers and everything who specifically stream their games at launch to promote them, and it's like we're supposed to trust them. They're literally on EA's payroll.
yeah, those
Yeah,
are
that's the
that
funniest thing.
those are the new
Go
age
ahead.
sweatshops, folks.
And then you
Like,
got them. Was it Greenberg or was it Ibarra that retweeted that video from Colt Eastwood?
I think it was Greenberg.
Yeah, like they are retweeting some of the most toxic and the kind of people that Phil Spencer used to want to distance the brand from. Suddenly they're retweeting them and using their praise to push Crackdown, and it's like, oh man,
I can't,
that you're in a desperate spot.
man,
Yeah.
Crackdown, no, man. Like I saw somebody left a comment. It was like, I can honestly say the first Crackdown was the only one I was even interested in trying. And the second one, I don't even remember the second one that much.
Here's the thing. I think people, we got to be real about ourselves for a second. The only reason people bought the original Crackdown was to get the Halo 3 beta. Nobody was over here screaming like, "Oh my God, Crackdown is amazing! I put 75 goddamn hours into it." Nobody was talking. The only
Nah.
reason people talked about Crackdown like that was because the Halo 3 beta. And hey, it was an open world game that was kind of fun, albeit repetitive. So when the second game came out, it literally came out, and that was it. Nobody was talking and thinking, "Damn, son, can
They
get this
went.
Crackdown 3."
The
Nobody
one,
was doing them theory videos and checking for the actors in their mocap suits. Nobody was doing that. So when they announced Crackdown 3, it's like, oh, okay.
okay, yeah, exactly. They're like, okay, like,
Like literally,
that's
because Saints Row had filled the gap with 3 sequels by that point.
yeah. I mean, Saints Row 4, and that's like I don't even like Saints Row 4 that much, but that is what Crackdown wishes it could be. Yeah. Like literally, you punching motherfuckers down a block, super speed running, you can damn near super glide and stuff. It's absurd, but it's complete. It's complete.
Yeah.
I mean, they even hit you with that yeah. If y'all beat Saints Row 4,
Oh, dude, I own Saints Row 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. Remember when they busted out the you got the touch in that final boss
Oh my
fight?
God, that was incredible.
Like, man, it's
Didn't they actually have who was it? Didn't they actually have like Roddy Piper in there before he died?
yeah, yep, yeah. Roddy Piper, he was in there recreating that scene from They Live, his
Oh
movie and
God,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was great. That was freaking great.
yeah, yeah, that was crazy.
There was that was one of those games where it's like part of you knows that pardon my bag there. Part of you knows that like it's not the highest quality game per se, And like the developers are kind of self-aware too, because Saints Row 4, as I recall, they were given like a pretty narrow window to complete it in, and it's like you want an open world game, but you want to give us a fixed window to make it in, which is why they kind of cut corners, but they did it in a way that was like fun, like.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, this is lacking a lot of detail and everything else, but that's because this is a completely virtual world, and and like they also kind of parodied other games like the romance options in Mass Effect. Like
that shit was disturbing.
yeah, it was. Some of it was like just why, but 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 man, that game was fun. Like it was fun. It worked the way it needed to work. They gave you like just a whole bunch of stuff to just screw around in this like kind of half baked world that they put together because they knew it was a half baked world, and they're like, we still want you to have fun. So there you go. Like they gave you the friggin' dubstep gun, that black hole launcher.
Yeah,
Man, bro, they went crazy with the weapons. That dubstep gun
too much fun.
Oh god,
man.
I don't know about you guys, but I liked Saints Row from what I played at Saints Row 4. I liked it more than Saints Row 3, to be honest.
You did?
I did honestly, because to me, because the thing is, I loved Saints Row 2 a lot. So for me, 3 kind of felt like it was a bit of a downgrade. Like they went heavy on the quirkiness, the zaniness, the purple dildos, and all that stuff. But I felt like in terms of mission design and structure, I didn't really like Saints Row 3 as much. Saints Row 4 I felt was like a better version of Saints Row 3 in a lot of ways, but I don't know, 2 for me is still the king. I love 2.
Yeah,
I've always been more into Saints Row than GTA myself, so.
Well,
say what?
He's been in the Saints Row more than GTA, so.
Okay, well, I can definitely see that with Saints Row.
I just feel like it was like more fun. Like I mean, like in terms of tone, than
Saints Row is more fun than GTA 4. GTA 4 is a very depressing
game.
GTA
4 was coming off the expectations of everything San Andreas did on the PS2, and GTA 4 was like, here's Nico Bellic, who doesn't have a single short sleeve shirt in the game.
I just noticed that.
Like he didn't have a single short sleeve shirt. It was just like, oh, so what's the point of me? I like this is not the most dapper looking gentleman. It's hard for me to customize his look right now.
When this man said a short sleeve shirt, I'm dead.
I mean, something as simple as that. Meanwhile, on the PS2, how did you can change CJ's body by either going to the gym too much or eating too much? It was like groundbreaking stuff. But that's a whole nother thing we might end up getting into one day. There was something I was about to say about Saints. Yeah. See, I think I definitely get where you're coming from though about Saints Row 4, because it's one of those things like, why half-ass the craziness you jumped into? You might as well just dive on it. And I think when they dove in on it, it definitely, like, as crazy as it was, I could see where the fun would come in at times, especially if you were playing with somebody. Like that shit was fun.
Oh, can we just talk about the fact that when you could create your character, the voice options you had were like male voice 1, male voice 2, and Nolan North.
No, right.
Like, it was just straight up Nolan North.
Yeah, like he was just very blunt about it. His dialogue is hilarious during the Bismarck key part though.
Yeah,
like
and the funny part is that Nolan and Troy Baker have that YouTube channel together now.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah, it was fun watching Troy like remember, because they were watching like one of those Watch Mojo lists, but it was supposed to be Nolan North's best roles, and Saints Row came up, and Troy was like so jealous because he did the default male voice.
Yeah.
And yet Nolan got to be Nolan.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was a treat though. I mean, because it definitely made me replay the game. I would probably say like those are like the only three that stick out. The only three that stick out for me is Troy, Nolan, obviously, because that was an option, and then also Laura Bailey as the default female. So like I don't really go past those three. Like
Laura Bailey's awesome, but
yeah,
we're hitting a bit off the beat.
no, real quick because I got finished what I
Yeah.
was about to say about this,
All
and then we
right,
can
all
move on. I was gonna say the thing I think I liked about Saints Row 3 was the without needing superpowers, it was still absurd, like A-Team absurd. Like when you had to shoot in the plane of the window and the window on the plane and fly in, drop kick the dude, take his parachute, dive back down and shit. It was I remember when people first saw that at the first E3 they showed people that and people's heads just melted. Like yo, they shot the fucking window in on the plane, dove in, kicked the motherfucker out, took his parachute. What the hell is going on right?
They set an entire sequence to Kanye West's Power.
Yo, that's like my favorite levels when you got to clean out that hotel suite and you just drop down and they start bumping the music. You just go in and just start lighting everybody up, Frank Castle style, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus, I need to go back and replay Saints Row 4. What the hell?
Anyway, the point is just about
this was all on 3, bro.
Anyway, the point is just about every game.
Oh shit! No, see, I don't even remember that much. Damn.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay. Anyways.
A little bit back.
Anyway, so yes. So speaking of Crackdown, I think this is a perfect segue because we've pretty much all said what we can at this point. It would sound like regurgitation, and it's an unfortunate situation that a lot of these executives are acting the way that they do. But speaking of Xbox and something that is potentially a little more interesting, maybe this will give gamers the chance to actually play Xbox games. There has been a lot of
where Killer Instinct at?
Bro, you remember how much of a big deal people were making about Killer Instinct? Like, oh, Street Fighter is dead, man. You guys gotta worry, man. We got an exclusive fighting game back on the scene. Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're free to play game when you get and you want to get it for free. I hope you're good at playing as Jago, because that's the only you free to play game. You get one character when you download this shit.
But it's free though, sir.
Free,
but
hey, you
to do decent damage. Like
you have a chance to be the world's greatest Jago player because that's all you can play as.
Jesus. So, big bombshell rumor of the week. I think this is one of the bigger ones, and it kind of goes hand in hand with another rumor. It's just been a weird week for Xbox. You know, they're coming off of Crackdown 3 being a disappointment, and we got a big rumor that Nintendo is potentially working at reviving a dead game, a game that everybody knows is dead and buried, canceled. And one of the biggest speculations roaming around is that game is Scalebound. Not only that's not the only Xbox rumor for the week, because we got a lot. Because we might as well just lump this one into it. Damn. Because it's an Xbox game potentially going to the Switch. Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox Live as a whole might end up on Switch with some of the games. So, guys, let's first tackle the potential rumor that Scalebound is coming to the Switch. What do you guys think is the credibility behind it?
I'm gonna go second on this one.
Okay. All right. So I might as well. I'll go. Did you want to go, Rob, or no?
No, you go. I'll follow you. So,
yeah. All right. So, I mean, as far as Scalebound comes to the Switch, I mean, first things first, I would love for it to happen because I was just on a podcast a few days ago and Black Baron said it best. He was just like, I would love just to see all the salt, you know, instead of Scalebound, it'll be called Saltbound because that's literally what it would be. Because can you just imagine that game, Scalebound, like doing whatever they have to do to get it to work on the Switch, you know, custom version, whatever. If that game were to ever show up in the same capacity, I don't know what the fallout, the backlash would be because that is just insane. Do you know, like literally people have not shut up about Scalebound for the past 2 years. It's been 2 years since Scalebound's been canceled that way. It's been 2 years? It's been 2 years, bro. They canceled it in January 2017, right before I think the Switch event.
Man, where does the time go? All right.
Yeah. So potentially it being on the Switch, I would love to see it. I don't know how feasible that is, depending on the situation with Platinum. And I kind of wish that Jamil had come onto the podcast because this has been a topic we've all wanted to discuss. Like all of us have a vested interest in discussing Platinum, but it sucks because he's not here. So we'll save that for another time. But
Rob, we gotta make sure to give him Jamil his time. Just let him go off in the beginning next time.
Exactly.
If they manage to if that game managed to resurrect on the Switch and it actually slaps with without that multiplayer they try to get them to force into that shit, I would laugh my ass off, to be honest, man. I would fucking laugh my ass off about this. I mean, I didn't really have a dog in the fight about this game. I'll peep it out if it's dope. I mean, regardless, but yeah, I don't really have that big of an opinion on it. I was more so confused about the game. I was like, kept watching it I'm like, what is it? You know?
Yeah, they weren't really too clear about it. And I think the reason why is because every single time that Microsoft has shown off the game, Kamiya has been so pissed off because he's like, no, why are you showing that portion? You know, the game's not ready. So he's been pissed off every single time, which is why Scalebound has always looked in a bad state when they unveil it.
Yeah.
So
real quick, I got a quick question. So just exactly like what was the level? Was it supposed to be like kind of like a Panzer Dragoon or?
All right. Well, okay. Basically, kind of okay. It's hard to really pin down what it is. It's sort of like Devil May Cry fused with How to Train Your Dragon.
Like, literally was just about to say that.
Basically, what
that's exactly how it looks too, man. Like for real.
Yeah.
that's exactly how it looks.
like the protagonist even looked a bit like honestly looked kind of like Nero does now.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's scary how much he looks like. This is before we seen the new Nero design, and he looks kind of like him.
But that's basically what it is. So, yeah. Anyway, you were saying?
But I don't think it was me that was about to say something.
Oh no, you were asking what the game was about because you didn't.
That's basically what it is.
Okay.
Trying not to step on any toes because I might be a little long-winded.
Oh no,
that's essentially what it is. It looked like an action game, and then you probably control the dragon with like the shoulder buttons or something. Maybe I don't know how it would work per se. That seems kind of weird, but
yeah, I didn't really stay up on the game, so it's like I saw like clips, like if somebody sent them to me in passing, but I was just always like, what is it? I mean, I'd mess with it if it slaps, you know. But yeah, it's always in the middle about it. But you can continue what you're saying.
All right. Well, my thing about the whole Scalebound thing is that first and foremost, I would laugh if it happened like hysterically. That would just this. I mean, someone would really have to check in on Smooth too because oh my god. It's hard already, he's already half dead from the Crackdown thing, like the blood pressure and but no. The thing is, though, I know a lot of people want it to be true, and I wouldn't necessarily mind per se if it was true, but part of me doesn't want it to be for a number of reasons. Just because, number one, there are like a lot of other IPs that I'd really rather Nintendo bring back from the dead. And number two, if it did come out on the Switch, like they were struggling to get that thing running the way it was conceived on the base Xbox. Dropping it down to the Switch, they'd have to like make even more compromises, and I'm not sure if it would be able to be the same game that we were being pitched earlier. But on top of that, I just don't think it's very likely, simply because a lot of people like to point to Microsoft supposedly abandoning the trademark. But excuse me, that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't own the IP, the character designs, everything else. It just means that they, don't own a trademark on Scalebound anymore. So if nothing else, it would be amusing to see Platinum kind of take the concept, rework it a little bit, like some silver-haired dude and his griffin or something, and call it
Get
Scalebound.
get get
Oh,
giant
you call it bound. You can call it bound by scales or some shit like that.
bound by scale. You would have a giant dire wolf, call it wolf bound.
And it'll be directed by what's his name? Hideki Hamiya instead, because I heard he's good friends. He grew up working with infamous what was his name, Rob? Hideo Hojima, that guy.
Yeah, Hideo Hojima. I heard they were good friends,
Yeah.
Hamiya walked
Oh,
out
man.
on stage with an Elton John wig on.
Oh my God.
That, by the way, was another reason that he was like really pissed at Microsoft, because they were making him do stage appearances, and it's not until you find out later, and you don't even ever really find this out. I just kind of pieced it together. The reason he was mad about it is everyone's like, well, of course you're making a game for them; they're going to expect you to promote it, and then it's like he was running that project. He was pretty much working like overtime on that project, trying to make those deadlines they wanted. Because Platinum's got like it's a small studio, so Kamiya was practically living at the studio trying to meet deadlines, and yet they were pulling him off work to go in front of all these people while he was dead tired and appear on stage and try to be amicable when Kamiya's an ornery person by nature. He just is.
Yeah.
And so when he has to do that while being tired and like exhausted on top of it, and knowing that he's missing work and they're probably going to miss their next deadline, and every time they miss deadlines, guess what? They didn't get their paychecks. So he had to make his team and himself keep working without getting the full pay they were supposed to get because they weren't hitting their deadlines. And they keep pulling him away from work so he can't hit his deadlines. The man was going nuts doing these press tours because it was screwing them over in the long run. And then Microsoft just straight up, pulls the rugs out from under them and cancels it.
I will say this though. I mean, I'm not to play devil's advocate, but if you are working on a game for a major publisher like that, you have to factor that time into it. And let's be real, if Platinum was not working on 16 games at the same time, I know we're kind of getting into the Platinum discussion right now, they probably could have worked around it. So I don't fault Microsoft, especially if they're banking the project. Like, come on, that's an investment right there.
Well, at the time though, they weren't working on as much, but the biggest problem it was the same problem the Phantom Dust people had, and that was that when they were doing the Phantom Dust remake, they thought they were just doing a remake of like the story thing and fleshing that out. And it was supposed to be. They thought they were under the impression too that it wasn't going to be anything huge. It was supposed to be like a budget title. Then next thing, they're expecting a full scale AAA quality game, and they want a multiplayer component, a full fleshed out multiplayer component, and they didn't even give them extra budget to do that.
You know what I've noticed when it comes to Microsoft and stuff? I've noticed they're a very reactive company. So, like, let's say, for example, this type of multiplayer is in. Oh, we got to put it in this game. So it affects the quality of the game, which is why you look at something like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Crackdown. All three of those games, they feel as if, like, Microsoft is just trying to chase this trend. And I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to shove Battle Royale into like the next Forza game or the next Gears or something.
Yeah. That word multiplayer, they're gonna die by that word, or like somebody gonna be like multiplayer. Well, we all play together, so when one person get fired, you gonna be unemployment with me, multiplayer. So,
damn. Based on the trajectory that their company's taking right now, though, it seems like multiplayer is going to be what they try to focus everything around going forward. But I do. I just had like the most evil idea. Like, what if we had Nomura make an Xbox game?
Oh no! Oh no! No! Please, no!
I want to do that just to put him and Phil Spencer in a business arrangement together, just to see which one of them breaks first. That would be amazing.
I don't want to see that. I really don't.
Hey,
Bro, I
hey,
would not
is
wish
it? It's
a
gonna have the
Tetsuya
most.
Nomura story.
it's,
Bro,
it's
I
gonna,
would not risk a Tetsuya Nomura story on my enemy. No, don't do that.
oh man, that shit gonna have a. It's gonna have a lit ass teaser trailer, and you ain't gonna hear shit about it else again.
Well,
That's it.
Oh,
it had the same development time as every other game that's come out for Xbox lately. So, hey.
Yeah. Oh,
But
no.
damn.
Wait,
but
yo, when you think about it, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Crackdown 3 have been in development for the same time.
Get the
That's
fuck out of here.
sad.
You serious?
Bro, Kingdom Hearts 3 was revealed a year before Crackdown 3, but they had to restart development like about a year into it. So they've had the same development time.
man,
Wow.
And regardless of how I feel about that game, and if I think it's a disappointment, whatever, like that game has
Oh,
polish. Crackdown 3 does not.
yeah. Yeah. I guess we should go ahead and state that we're not gonna have an in-depth Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion until we get Jamil in as
oh
well.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
so
Yeah,
best
sorry
best
about that, you guys.
yeah, best let that alone for tonight.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
honestly, you guys, we wanted to have a full blown Platinum and Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion, but it wouldn't feel right with Jamil because, it's just kind of what we all like to do.
Yeah.
So that'll be happening on next month's podcast. But real quick, before we jump gears into the Game Pass discussion, what canceled game do you guys personally, okay, what game do you think they're going to revive and what game would you want them to revive? And it doesn't have to just be like a game that Nintendo dropped years ago. It could be something from a third party. I have one in mind. I think it's the most obvious, so I'm just gonna say it. Mega Man Legends 3, please.
Ah man, I would get that shit yesterday if it's Legends 3. I would
Some people
I
have
would
thrown
I would I
around
would probably
Silent
be
Hills.
get out. Who said that? Get out.
y'all are crazy. It's totally gonna be Pilot Wings.
Oh please, what Pilot Wings New Resort or some shit? Oh god.
Oh man.
No. I got my suspicions as to what it might be, but
What do you think?
well, I think honestly, I think that they might be. I think they might finally be bringing back F-Zero.
Man,
Was it canceled though? It like the rumors suggest it's a game that's canceled so about it. So it's got to be something that's made some headway.
Well,
oh
I mean,
man.
it could be. We
Yeah.
don't know what all they were doing internally. They've had a lot of projects that they've like killed off internally, especially.
Somebody says they need to revive Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Versus 13. Hey, it just play completely stupid. What's this 15 y'all talking about? This is versus 13.
Same characters too. Like just nothing has changed.
It's just and never address it. Have a completely different synopsis on the back in case of everything. Like, wait, what?
Bro. I can see that. You know what? The cover of the game will have a different blonde girl. Who was the other blonde girl that they had? Stella? Was that her name? Stella?
I'm not sure.
Which one?
Luna was in the final game, right?
Yeah.
So Stella.
Okay,
Stella.
yeah. The one who actually had a personality. That No, that still irks me. And Tabata getting all high and mighty talking about how we're gonna see how strong she is, and she's not your typical damsel, and yada yada. And she does a lot more than just sit there waiting for Noctis. And what do we see? She just sits there waiting for Noctis. Oh, except for the one cutscene where she went out and healed some people, and then went back to sitting there waiting for Noctis. So
I feel that's an ongoing trend in big budget Square Enix games. We're gonna see how this badass female protagonist holds up. Nope.
And I know that people like to say,
man.
"Oh, we didn't even see enough of Stella to know that she had a real person." It's like bullcrap. You saw the way she acted, the way she was animated, the way she. That was a character that had personality and spirit, and the fact that they were heavily implying that she'd actually be involved in combat too. Like, don't even go there with the whole "you don't know" stuff. Like, come on. That was a downgrade and a half.
All right. So, well, Danny, did you ever say what your game was that you wanted to revive? I mean, I know you joked around.
To revive? I mean, I kind of wanted to Zero, but honestly, I'd like to see them revive and kind of stop being stupid with the Star Fox franchise. But you know, I mean that's dead in the water. So.
Hey, what you talking about? We got Starlink, player.
No.
No.
That's the longest no. Don't even think about that.
Danny has turned into Heath Ledger's Joker. No.
No.
Well, you set up what I can do with a pencil.
Oh God, I don't even want to know where he's gonna make that disappear. Jesus Christ. Okay, so next Xbox rumor. Okay, Matt C. I ain't even gonna address this man's comment, but yes, you are right. Yes, you are right. Y'all can go look at his comment and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I can't promise reason.
Oh man.
Yep.
The disrespect. The disrespect.
Exactly. He got it. All right. So, another rumor. This is so funny. Xbox Game Pass and as a whole, Xbox Live and some of its games ending up on Switch. We got this rumor from. Huh?
I was about to say I didn't talk about the games.
Okay, my bad, bro. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Rob.
I mean, both of y'all kind of answered both parts of my answers. Actually, I would love for them to bring back F-Zero because I remember like almost having a seizure playing that shit on the 64 because of the level design, but it was great though. And I remember when you could play as the 64 controller as one of the vehicles because it always looked like a damn ship.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love them to bring that back, but I mean, Legends 3 is possible. I mean, so
especially with Capcom, how they've been acting recently, it seems like it.
I was either Legends 3 or this is just me. Just if I had to go ahead and throw a little bit of a personal hope / request out there, bring it back, Beautiful Joe. But that's
man. But no, don't give it to Platinum. They've already got too much on their freaking hands.
Yeah, I mean, we can't.
Our 17th game for release in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh God.
As much as we love Platinum, we can't try to make them Rare. You know how Rare was back on the 64 days where they just kept shooting out.
Rare! Oh my God! I think Rare is like one of the only studios that was able to crank out like so many different good games of different genres. That was just
they just shoot them motherfuckers right out, Joe. Just like so. Man, it's hard to find a new Rare because not even Rare can be Rare. Joe.
Hey, what you talking about, man? We got that Sea of Thieves. It's the most ambitious game yet.
That what now?
We got the hey, you know what I said. We got that Sea of Thieves, man. You didn't want to swap the poop egg and eat a full peeled banana with your friends?
Man, did you know Sea of Thieves was the first ever biopic game? That's what the fuck they are. Sea of Thieves, bro. But anyway,
are we talking about Pond and Pickpockets?
Oh shit! Is that the latest expansion pack?
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right. So now moving straight along, Sea of Thieves on the Nintendo Switch. Y'all gonna cop it?
Bro, you couldn't pay me to play that game. I'm straight up being honest here.
Okay, all right,
I would,
Danny. All right.
I would rather buy a boat and shoot somebody's ship down in real IRL before I play Sea of Thieves, bro. I will do that shit. I will scoop y'all up. We gonna do that shit IRL. We gonna become real pirates before we play that bullshit.
This man is gonna go take boating classes with Mrs. Puff just to avoid playing a damn game. Okay, you know what? I
I'm
got
telling
a remedy. I got a remedy to your problem, bro. I got a remedy to your problem. You don't have to go out and buy Sea of Thieves. You can play it on Xbox Game Pass. Now coming to Nintendo Switch. You gonna play it now?
No.
Nah.
I'm gonna join Rob
like
in a rowboat with a 9mm and go after a cruise ship.
Yeah, I am enjoying my original idea so much now. We gonna steal a yacht. We gonna steal a yacht. We gonna load that shit up. We gonna paint it black, and it's gonna be the Black Pearl 2019.
Oh my god! Hey! You know they did say they reboot. They did say they're rebooting the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I will have so much more fun. I would have so much more fun avoiding being arrested for stealing somebody's yacht than ever playing Sea of Thieves, bro.
Where are we going?
Yo,
hey, if y'all want to join,
this man just quoted Wind Waker. I'm dead.
if any of y'all want to join our crew, you got to hit us up on Twitter, and we'll keep you posted.
There's always room for you if you want to be my friend, y'all. We're on the cruise.
Speaking of pirate games, don't forget Ubisoft still got that pirate thing coming out soon.
Oh, I thought. Oh, that's still not out. Skull and Bones or whatever.
Yeah, that's coming out this year, I think. Later.
Damn, didn't they reveal that thing like 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. I was excited until I found out that it's literally only multiplayer, and then they tried to play the whole. Oh no, you can
every
play
single time.
And it's like yeah, you can play it by yourself, but you'll be working with an AI crew that's probably going to be kind of crappy, and you have to do PvP.
So you basically telling me to buy AC4 again? All right, cool.
They did what I said they should do. They took the pirate gameplay out of AC4 and they made a pirate game, and then they sucked out 90% of what made that gameplay fun, which was your ability to just go raiding to your heart's content. Now you got to worry about running into other players.
Yeah, man, yo, AC4 was so addictive, man. I was avoiding everybody's shit, bro. Like,
I don't think I made any progress in the story. I just started doing pirate stuff.
Like straight up, man. It's like hey, I gotta give props to that game because that game made you feel it. Your ass was a pirate when you played that shit. It's like you up there looking through your telescope, like, oh, what they got? I was like, oh shit, they got that rum up there. Hey, about to go raid their ass.
Man, the only thing the only thing I didn't like is that like your own men could hit you when you were fighting.
Nanny, I mean, you was pissed about that shit.
Well, I mean, I was on the verge of. I was fighting a legendary pirate hunter, bro. Okay, and I had that SOV down to like one hit. I go in for the kill. One of my own guys hits me from behind and actually killed me.
Damn.
I desynchronized. Damn. I almost friggin' won, and
That's the type to get you to uninstall the game.
Hey, I'll never forget.
I did.
Oh my god!
I'll never forget. Real quick. I remember one time we was about to board this ship, and I had that rope dart, and I ended up hitting somebody all the way on the opposing ship, and I was still on mine. I hit him with that scorpion and yanked his ass over the side and shit.
Get over here.
Beautiful, man. I didn't think that shit would work. That rope flew across, yanked his ass, so he yeeted his ass off the boat. I love that game. Man, I am talking myself into replaying that shit now.
Man, bro, I'm about to get it downloaded again. Shit.
Man, how sad.
I was gonna go through.
We'd really.
I was gonna go through
and play Sea of Thieves.
Huh?
We'd really rather play a game from last gen than play Sea of Thieves. That's sad.
Somebody legit said they'd rather play the Pirates of the Caribbean world and Kingdom Hearts 3 times over than play Sea of Thieves.
You ain't lying, bro.
That ship combat was pretty fun.
It was.
I'm telling you, man, it was decent, man. I don't know why people. Someone said, okay, Rob. Somebody said, it's past tense, sir. That would be yoked instead of yeet.
Oh, oh!
You just yoded his ass off the ship.
Yoded his ass. You know what? You know what? You lucky I actually like that. I'm gonna tell you. I yoded his ass.
So
I yoded his ass with a scallywag swagger.
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go re-download Assassin's Creed 4 now.
Yeah, I'm so about to replay. I know they got this somewhere, right?
Okay. So,
hey, real quick, you ever realize you know something is bad when it makes you play? It makes you think right now want to play something that's older, that's better than that shit.
bro, Assassin's Creed 4. That game is like that's about to be 6 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, it still holds up.
I remember like feeling so empty when I hit every island and that map was all gold and shit. I was like, there's no more. What?
Did they do DLC for that outside of Freedom? What was it? The other what was that DLC called? I forgot, but I know they came out with an expansion for it.
Yeah, the one with Adewale, Freedom Cry.
Was it Freedom Cry? No, I thought Freedom Cry. I wanted to say Freedom Cry, but
it was one.
I thought Freedom Cry was Assassin's Creed 3 because I heard Freedom, but no, I don't.
That was Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Yeah, and Aveline, she did have a little DLC in AC4. I remember I still got the girl from Liberation. She was pretty cool. But there was like no expansion for Edward specifically. It's like if you wanted more. If you wanted more, you had to get Rogue because then they put in like the Arctic part of the world, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'd rather play. Someone said I'd rather play Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh Jesus,
bro! I would do you one better. I would rather play Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
I would rather play Sid Meier.
Yo.
Yeah. Random fun fact, ladies and gentlemen. That game had a version of the free flow combat they thought the Arkham games invented. I kid you not, bro. I kid you not. That blew my mind when I was fencing with this dude and somebody ran up to hit me and it said press triangle. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, no, this game don't got the free flow on this shit. It stuttered a little bit, but it was the same concept basically.
Okay, so getting back on track. Oh my god! All it took was roasting every Xbox exclusive diverts us into playing better games. So we had Saints Row.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I was like, Crackdown made us talk about Saints Row, and then what was you talking about? That Skull and Bones game, whatever.
Sea of Thieves,
Skull and Bones, and so. Oh man,
that's a beautiful thing, man. But the reason why we brought up Sea of Thieves is that Xbox potentially could be bringing their service to not only Nintendo Switch but other devices, so smartphones. I believe it's already on PC.
I mean, they confirmed other devices before. I mean, they straight up confirmed that, so that's not even. But
yeah.
But interestingly enough, I mean, I kind of want to talk about the Switch aspect first, but there's an interesting little bit of an update that came out of that recently.
Oh, go ahead, enlighten us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the Switch. Apparently, according to some of the same sources that have said that they are looking to put it on the Switch, they have been in negotiations since early this year to get Xbox Game Pass on the PlayStation 4.
Uh-oh. Bruh.
Who didn't see that coming?
So I mean,
I'm surprised.
It genuinely sounds like At this point, Xbox is going full third party.
Now, here's the thing. Honestly, it's not that surprising to me, especially considering how they prefer services more than traditional consoles, especially this generation. So, realistically, long term, I think that makes a lot more sense for them to have all these services because, like, y'all have noticed this, they haven't reported hardware numbers in years. Like, they are so embarrassed of the Xbox One selling that they'll rather tell you how many people, swab the poop deck on Sea of Thieves and drive it around in Forza than actually tell you how many Xbox One sold, you know? So this is, I mean, I'm all for it. If Xbox wants to like have a box where you can play the games natively and then stream the games on other systems, I think that's pretty cool. But what about y'all? What in the world?
Did he mute?
Okay. I think he did. I'm not sure. I thought I went dead for a second.
Sorry, I had to deal with the cat.
Oh, okay.
You said what?
Deal with that pussy,
dude.
He's chewing my shoelaces.
Really?
Excuse. I do not need to be replacing the laces already.
Yeah, he don't even know.
I'm all for it if they want to do like a service type thing. I mean, yeah, we can all make jokes about it, haha, but I'm down for that. If I can play Halo on my Switch or on my PS4, where people actually play games, then heck yeah.
I mean, if Halo was still worth playing, I'd be excited.
Yeah, but what do you think overall?
I honestly, I'm gonna be that guy and say it. Considering the fact that Xbox has literally nothing that I really give two craps about anymore, I really don't care. Like I genuinely do not care whether it's on any service or not, any system or not. I'm never gonna use it. I'm really not. Like the most that I would use it for is third party stuff, but it's like if I want to use it for third party stuff, we got PlayStation Now for that. So
yeah, I mean,
true.
Using that either. So
I mean, okay, I could see it. If I had a Switch, okay, maybe I could probably find a reason to work with it. It makes absolutely no sense for them to try to get that shit on PlayStation. I mean, I know why they're going to try to do it, and quite frankly, I think it's like just one of the weakest tricks in the book because I mean, let's be real. If they can just get their X on the Switch and the PS4, just that green X, they can just say, they still win it. They have a feature that comes across all platforms that you can play video games on, and they will try to flex with that. And that it's so underhanded. I can't mess with it. I can't mess with it because it's such a obviously sleazy thing. It's like so for your lack of games, you trying to swindle your way on top by being like, hey, look, our Game Pass is on everybody's stuff. Yeah. Like, nah.
Yeah, they'll try to.
It's like clout type thing. Clout.
Yeah, it's like no.
Themselves as the most dominant gaming brand and the other.
Yeah. And when they have no games themselves, the last game they put out was Crackdown 3. Okay.
But
yeah,
I mean, my thing is that the system that you would get the most practical use out of that on is the Switch, just because you'd be able to play games that otherwise would never be able to run on or come to the Switch. But by that same token, you're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage because you're only ever going to be able to stream those games because downloading is not going to be an option on the Switch with its storage capabilities. So you're going to have to stream them off Xbox servers. So if your internet ever hiccups or goes down or anything like that, you are not going to be able to play those games. You will not have access to those games. And therefore, ironically, the system that would actually get the most use out of it is going to be the one that's the most limited with it, whereas the system that really doesn't need it would be the one that actually could utilize all of its features to the fullest.
Yeah.
And the sad part about that is that the Switch, since you can't download those games, obviously, some of these games even if you downscale it for the Switch, they'll still be like 50-something gigs, 50-odd gigs. But the Switch, as everybody knows, has a pretty crappy wireless whatever receiver built into it, so it's really bad. So
Right.
unless you bought that hardwire adapter and you are playing docked, that's not going to be a smooth experience. So I prefer them to do like native ports. But I want to address some of the comments who said Xbox One sales hit 41 million as of January 25th. Oh God! So that means the Switch is going to surpass it probably by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, like
Easily.
Oh, that's
the thing is,
bad.
though, I mean, here's the thing. And the sad thing is, we only know that because of a few analysts who are trying to do their best estimate based on the numbers they're getting from third-party sources. Microsoft literally will not give any numbers, and there's speculation that the reason that they're doing that is because that might actually be a high ball. Uh, someone,
Jeez.
I mean, that's trying to do like I think math based on NPD
Mhm.
projections and everything. So yeah, the Xbox One is kind of it's like I mean at least it's not the Wii U, but it's certainly the Wii U of this generation. So
Yeah.
it's
Um,
it's ugly.
it's ironic how people kept wanting Nintendo to go third party, but now Xbox on the Switch might be a reality. I mean, because here's the thing: a few years ago, everyone was saying the biggest problem that Nintendo had is that they make good games. You know, arguably some of them aren't as great, but their hardware always seems to handicap them and hold them back. But you know, now with the Switch, they got their own little groove, so it's okay. But Xbox just doesn't have the appeal enough to buy a console to warrant playing those exclusives. You know, there hasn't been a single game this generation where everyone's like, "Oh man, I gotta run out and get an Xbox for." You know, it's even the Wii U had some of those games, you know? Like if you look at the amount of people who buy the games on the Wii U and compare that to the install base, it's pretty close. Like they sold really well to that install base because the games were for the most part pretty good, but Xbox One just doesn't I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean,
It doesn't have it.
the very reason I even got the original Xbox, because I had the PS2 first. The only reason I got the original Xbox, I would have never got it if it wasn't for the fact that I saw that the original Xbox was the only at-home console that had Dead or Alive 3. And I like that.
Mm,
So I was like, I love Dead or Alive. I want to play Dead or Alive 3. Looks like I got to get an Xbox. So it's like exclusives are a thing because I mean they kind of pull you. That's the incentive. And to be honest, just flexing off your resolution of multiplayer games, that's just not enough for me. It's like that's their thing. And I know people that are diehard Xbox guys, and you shouldn't be. Let's be real. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be that committed to a gaming company at all because it's like a religion type of shit. Like
exactly.
you shouldn't be in that deep in the first place. But I literally know someone that he will turn a blind eye to what anybody says. He even says that, well, all y'all talking about is it ain't got no games, but you know what? These games look better. Red Dead 2 looks so much better. Or Kingdom Hearts 3 looks so much better. I was like, good for you, bro. Good for you, man.
That's the sad thing. That's the
Like,
sad thing. When you tally things up, you spent $500 on the OG Xbox. You spent $300 on the Slim. And you spent another $500 on the One X 2 years before a new system drops. That's like, uh,
Yeah.
that's too much. You could have built a 4K PC with that.
You know what game actually made me want an original Xbox?
Jet Set Radio.
No.
Barbie's Horse Adventure.
Wait, that was
J-
on the Xbox?
I will look it up.
Jade Empire.
No.
Oh yeah,
Believe it or not,
all those games.
two games really made me want an original Xbox. It was Crimson Skies
Oh,
and what was it? What was the other one?
Halo 2.
No, it wasn't Halo. Although I did like Halo, but no.
Yeah, that was back when Halo was lit.
Wasn't it? Oh God, I can't remember.
You want to know what was the most lit original Xbox game?
What?
Mm.
What they said Fable was going to be.
Oh, I'm trying to make Fable the greatest role playing game of all time. Oh boy, Peter Molyneux. Oh God,
Everything
bro.
they said it was gonna be. When I read that Game Informer spread, I was like, I will pre-order this right now.
Yo, dude, I remember when I got my first 360, right? And everyone was like, "Yo, man, you gotta pick up Fable 2. That joint's about to be crazy." And then I remember one of my homeboys, he picked it up, and he was just like, I caught up with him a few weeks later. I was like, "Hey, man, how's that Fable 2?" And he was like, "Man, don't even talk to me." Oh God, but yeah,
I
Fable 3,
mean,
it's a trilogy of disappointment.
how they gassed up the first one. They basically said you could do anything.
Literally.
They talking about you could get bit by a werewolf, spend the rest of your life as a werewolf, all type of shit like that. I was just like, this
Hell.
sounds pretty cool. And none of that happened. Just like
None of that shit happened.
none of that shit happened. I mean, you got close, but this is not what you said in the game form.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Matt C says the rise of PC gaming really hurt the Xbox One since most are exclusives are on PC. To be honest, I don't think so. I don't think that the fact that games were on PC hurt people because I look at it like this: the people who are going to buy a system for their exclusives, I feel like they would already have it in their mind, like, okay, I'm going to do this because we know people who just have consoles to play Uncharted or to play whatever Japanese game ain't on the PC. Like we know them. With
Yeah.
with the Xbox though, if you had people out there, like we know tons of people on the Xbox who who don't play on Xbox, they have a PS4, they have a PC, or they
Oh,
have a
that's
PS4
what it
and they have
was.
what's up?
Oh, sorry. I just remembered the other game, Ninja Gaiden Black.
Oh,
Oh man,
That was the other
that
one.
that game. Hey, the original Ninja Gaiden was made by the devil himself.
oh yes, it was.
It was made. The devil himself developed that. 666 Studios, bro. That game. When the tutorial level making you rage, bro,
oh
you
God.
are in for a long playthrough.
Yep. Yeah, but for the people who are asking, like, I don't think that the Xbox One has had that many compelling games to warrant people going out and buying it. Like, I mean, I've seen the sales of the games on PC, and they're really not like, whoa, crazy. I mean, like to put into perspective for you guys, the Yakuza games, Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Zero on PC, have been selling on par with their PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 counterparts on the
Uh,
PC. I
uh-huh.
don't know if you can really say the same for like Gears of War 4 or stuff like that. I'm sure they sell decently, but no one's really looking for these games like that. You know, no one's rushing out there, with the exception of Cuphead, because Cuphead did really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
Cuphead had like a proper Steam release and everything. So.
yeah.
True, which is another one of these problems because a lot of these Xbox games that come to PC, they're Windows Store exclusive for like what the first year or so or something like that. Like,
I mean, like,
Sunset
yeah,
Overdrive. That's right, that did come out.
yeah, Sunset Overdrive hit. So there's Sunset Overdrive was like one of the only games that made me want an Xbox One, and the other one was Scalebound. Scalebound got canceled. Now Sunset Overdrive's on PC. There's literally no reason for me to even want to touch that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what am I supposed to look forward to? What Gears? Gears has fallen off. Halo fell off a long time ago. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, Forza, I guess, but I'm not really into racing games that much anyway. So, I
yeah.
mean, there's a few I like, but
How much is Microsoft hurting their sales by not being on Steam? I'm sure quite a bit because it's one thing if it's exclusive to a store. It's another thing if it just doesn't run that well. Which some of the ports, like I remember when Quantum Break first came out, they had to patch in a quit button. They had to patch in a quit button. That port was so bad. Oh Jesus! But yeah. So if this were to happen, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, we'll do a full on Xbox podcast later on because I have a feeling come E3. we'll start seeing what their plans are. So we're not really going to speculate too much on that. Oh god, Project Spark. I remember that. Y'all remember Project Spark?
Oh,
Project Spark, where they kept
man.
insisting they were going to put Little Big Planet to shame, and then didn't even fully release outside the beta. And now we got Dreams coming out, which is
Project Spark. You don't want this smoke. You don't want this smoke.
Yeah, apparently they didn't want the smoke.
It was too powerful.
You remember that beautiful backhanded slap in the face they gave Conquer fans? With that?
Oh, don't.
Oh my god!
Yo.
You know, I just realized they still have a Battletoads game that they have to crap out at some point.
I just saw that. I just saw that comment. So I forgot, man. You see, you forget all this stuff, and it's just you only hear about it when it gets canceled.
Exactly. You'd be like, I forgot this game existed.
Right. Who's even working on that Battletoads game? I have no idea.
You know what? I'm gonna look that up real quick. I want to address something in the chat right now. Someone said that Xbox and maybe PS5 will have two home console tiers and one streaming console. I can promise you, PlayStation 5 is not going to have any kind of dedicated streaming console because their position on that is the sane one, which is that we're nowhere near ready for going full streaming yet. So,
guys, look at it like this: when these new consoles drop, probably 2020, 2021, the internet ain't going to be that much better. Like, internet has not become that much better in the past 5 years, and hasn't PlayStation now been around for almost 5 years? I think 2016. Because I remember I was playing Ninja Gaiden on that. It was okay. It was alright, but I don't think it's going to get that much better in 2 years.
You know what?
Mm.
I'm actually not seeing anything.
Okay.
On the Battletoads remake, it's not even on the Wikipedia.
Stealth cancel. Stealth cancel.
The last update we have on Battletoads is Battletoads appears a bonus boss encounter in the Xbox One version of Shovel Knight. And they're in rare replay, and
it wasn't in Killer Instinct.
Yeah, Rash appears in it.
Yeah, and Killer Instinct.
And he looks horrifying, but
even his reveal trailer, even he was tired of just his own game being ported thousands of times. He's like, this is getting old. I'm going somewhere else.
Do what you gotta do. All right, so moving into okay. I just gotta address this one more time because we got a lot of new people coming to the chat. For those wondering, we have not discussed Kingdom Hearts 3. We won't be discussing Kingdom Hearts 3 until the next podcast because Jamil is not here and we want to do discussion as a group. Yes, stealth cancel is the phrase of the night. That is what it is.
I mean, you ever cancel a game and not tell people it was canceled?
Bro, it's like, oh yeah, we forgot it. We moved on from that. Why y'all still talking about it?
They was gonna play dumb. Like, what happened to Battletoads? What?
What Battletoads?
So I think you're suffering from the Mandela effect. We never said that.
Yeah, but Battletoads, what's up? But speaking of games that we do know are a thing and they are coming out, Rob. There is a fighting game that just got revealed. Oh, I want to say, it's been 2 months. It's been 2 months. Got revealed 2 months ago. And we got a proper showcase last month. And they've been dealing out steady updates here and then. You want to tell us about this game?
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into some Mortal Kombat 11 real quick. First of all, I give NetherRealm credit for waiting this close to announce it. They announced it 5 months away. That's beautiful, and they're just about to start dropping information every couple of weeks. So far, they kick things off first. We got a tease about the next character reveal for the Combat Cast, which will be the coming Thursday. And going off the screenshot, it looks like they're teasing Johnny Cage. So anybody that plays Johnny Cage or likes him, I know Danny loves that. Johnny Cage is more than likely will be revealed. It's nothing more. It's simply it looks like somebody broke the camera and all you see is someone getting flipped off or someone flipping off the broken camera. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like anybody. That might be Johnny Cage. So that's cool. Even though it should be obvious. I mean, if he didn't die, why wouldn't he be in the game? But the thing I really want to speak about that really, really, really gets me is I guess I should kick it off first. I'm assuming you two gentlemen have seen the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes, sir. You know, it's funny. I just saw it. I think they're on Hulu. I think both of them are on Hulu.
Man, that first movie was life changing, man.
Oh God, definitely.
How in
Like-
the hell did the man who directed that go on to make the Resident Evil movies?
I don't know. I don't know. He went through whatever hypnosis Michael Bay went through that went from Bad Boys to the Transformers. But
Pearl Harbor.
We don't speak of Pearl Harbor.
oh man. So there's been rumors going around about Kerry Tagawa, who played Shang Tsung in that movie, being in Mortal Kombat 11, reprising his role as Shang Tsung. And it all started when a fan had recreated like a picture of what his version of Shang Tsung would probably look like in Mortal Kombat 11, because MK11 has also adopted that thing where people kind of donate their likeness for the game, so all their characters are based off of someone for real, and that doesn't necessarily mean someone has to donate their facial scan and their voice, because somebody, it's like for Sonya Blade, somebody's look is completely different, but we know Ronda Rousey is voicing Sonya in the game. So Ed Boon, in an interview with Angry Joe, I believe, he said there's a specific facial scan in the game you are not going to believe that we actually got. And you factor that in with a hopeful fan making this fan photo of Kerry Tagawa's Shang Tsung with MK11. Fans just flat out brought it up to Kerry Tagawa himself on Twitter and was like, man, it would be so awesome if you would be in the game. And he didn't just flat out deny it. It's like he said everything except a no, you know? And in the gaming industry, you always know to read between the lines. If you just don't flat out say no, it probably means something. You know? And I will tell you this right now. If all he has to do for his intro, if this is legit and they got his face and he did the voice, I will learn how to play Shang Tsung better for the sake of that, because that is like nostalgia to a whole new level for me, because that dude was a badass. I mean, he had the famous, he put, your soul is mine. He put that on the map, like, so that has me real geeked out about that, if that's legit. I wish we had a way to show the picture, because I actually had the screenshot of the in-game model, and if this is how it looks, that's gonna be pretty cool. So that's basically all I really got for the MK11 news right now. So.
Okay, real quick, just want to jump back to something I finally found, the Battletoads thing. It is supposed to be out this year. They're supposedly going to have genre mashups and parodies of like other like old beat 'em up games and even some more modern stuff. 3-player couch co-op, 4K hand-drawn 2.5D graphics, and that is literally all we know. They're not even saying who's handling development. And we haven't heard a peep about it, but it's supposed to be out this year. But back to Mortal Kombat. I want to be excited. I really want to be excited. I can't be like committed to this though till my mains are like confirmed. So I'm really hoping that's Johnny. I am really hoping that's my main right there. So but I mean, I am very open to being persuaded. That's
Yeah,
my thoughts on it.
yeah. Real quick, I've listened to Scorpion several times, and I don't think Kevin Conroy can do a Japanese accent that thorough. Because it was the whole rumor going on around that Kevin Conroy was voicing Scorpion. Nah,
Okay.
that's not Kevin Conroy. No way. Uh, I'm just looking
It
at some
definitely
of
would
the
have been something, though. I will say that much.
that would have been interesting. I mean, when I read it on paper, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this would be cool. But I kind of like the actor they got now. He has a very distinctive accent, and so as opposed to as much as I like Patrick Seitz when he played Scorpion, he sounded like a standard angry white dude. uh, Looking at the comments real quick. It's almost guaranteed that Spawn is gonna be a guest character for the game because you got McFarlane himself promoting Mortal Kombat and stuff. It looked like it's finally about to happen. So, uh, think. What about you though, Chris? I mean, you never really spoke about Mortal Kombat. Was that your thing or no?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I didn't get a chance to play too much because, as y'all know this, my mom, she was very vehemently against me playing mature rated games and even some teen rated games that had violence in them. So I didn't really play too much of Mortal Kombat as opposed to like whenever I get the chance to rent them from Blockbuster. And this is so funny because it was my first Mortal Kombat game, but it wasn't really a Mortal Kombat game. It was Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks on the PS2. You remember that?
Do I remember it, man?
So I got a chance to play it then. I went back, played some of the older ones, and I played 9 on the PS3, skipped through 10, didn't touch that at all, and I'm thinking I'm gonna dive back in with 11 because everything I've seen looks pretty good. But there is something that we wanted to bring up, and this will probably be our last topic of the night because it's a pretty big topic and it bleeds into everything. I'm sure you guys have seen the reveals and how some characters have different costumes. That's pissed a lot of people off, ain't that right, Danny?
Uh, yeah.
And it's kind of bled over into other territories outside video games, and it's in all types of creepy discussion too. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight for our final topic, we're going to be discussing boner culture.
Oh.
So, who wants to? I feel like since Rob was talking about it, I'm gonna let Danny start it.
All right. Well, okay. So this whole thing kind of really spilled over when there's been all these arguments going on about companies trying to censor X, Y, and Z in video games, and they're trying to remove all this sexual content and all anything sexy from video games, yada yada. People kept insisting that Catherine was going to be censored, even though it turned out not to be. People kept insisting Dead or Alive 6 was going to have any and all fan service removed from it, which turned out to be absolutely false. I mean, one of the base outfits for Hanukkah is the jiggle physics are very real. I'll leave it at that. But it turned into a big old panic thing, but it really boiled over with Mortal Kombat, and when they started revealing the characters. And first it was Scarlet, and people insisting that they ruined her, and that they made her look like some kind of you know campus feminist, some Berkeley student, yada yada. Even though it's like one of the first times we've actually seen her face, and it's a full on render. And based on what she is, which is a blood mage, her outfit's actually very fitting, and et cetera, et cetera. And then they revealed Jade in her Revenant form, and and they're comparing it with like screenshots of her in Mortal Kombat 9 when she had that utterly ridiculous, like barely hanging onto her um, outfit that had like a boob window 30 miles wide,
Yeah.
and talk about how they're taking the sexy out of Mortal Kombat, and
Uh,
and they're making all the characters so plain. And some dude wrote an article about it. And someone replied saying, there is custom gear and everything, so there's going to be different ways you can customize your character. These are just the base looks that they have out so far. And the dude replied, like completely unironically, well, for the sake of boner culture, I sure hope so. It's like, and that's just one of the things. Like, it's not just the whole, oh, you're taking sexy out of video games either. It's like people are. I find it hilarious how people like take offense to anyone trying to express any kind of opinion other than theirs in video games. Like the SJWs do it, but then I see all these other people that are like so heavily anti SJW or whatever, and yet they act just as bad as they do. The second like espouses any kind of, I guess what you could call a liberal point of view on any topic, the second that's expressed in like a video game or a movie, they throw a fit. They have a cow. They screech about it. They. Meanwhile, and they'll object to like anyone to them like caricaturing anyone who who has an opposing point of view or a point of view they share, and yet they'll sit there and cheerlead any comic that does the same to like the SJW camp. So there's just like all kinds of hypocrisy going on there, but it's bleeding into like literally everything now, and in a lot of ways they're getting even more sensitive in the SJWs, and they're taking like wild offense to stuff that's like not even there. There are still people like outraged over stuff that happened months ago and like trying to punish companies for something that they stopped doing like many months ago. Like there are still people um who are like pissed at Marvel for
God.
that they reversed like almost a year ago now. And if you actually kept up with comics, you'd know that, but you're too busy being mad about what someone told you they did in the comics. Like there's still people who are like, they're still mad that Thor is like Thor's. Whoa, Thor's been Thor for a long time now. Dan Slott's off Spider-Man. Spider-Man's actually been great, and I do mean great for the last 15 issues. And now there's the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series that launched, and that's been just really, really freaking good too. But there are people who still act like oh, Spider-Man's ruined, and the whole they're still trying to keep him and Mary Jane split, and it's like that's not been a thing since ASM 1 dropped like last year. And I don't know, just this weird outrage culture that's been infiltrating everything, and it gets really old.
Yeah, man, it's out of control.
It's out of control.
Oh, you hear that echo?
Chris?
Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Did he drop? Oh yeah.
He might have muted. Maybe that's why we have the echo.
Oh yeah. Sound like he ran off and like dropped the mic right by the speaker.
Maybe. But yeah.
But about the whole thing with with MK11, I don't know. It just seems like I don't really know who needs that type of validation with these characters. Like some people really just it doesn't matter the fact that she's in. A lot of people said from the jump they wanted Jade to be back in the game. They wanted Scarlet to be back in the game, and then they both come back. But now it's a problem of how they look. When I almost guarantee you, these people probably don't even play with these two characters.
You know what the sad thing is, and I've seen this thrown around quite a bit, is people have characters look ugly because of the beauty standards, and people can't identify with them. Like, and again, it's like the opposite of the SJWs. These people are so far in the opposite direction that they've become exactly what they hate, and I don't think they realize or understand that. Like, normal people don't care how these characters look. I mean, obviously, on some level, like, let's just admit it, because gaming and to a lesser extent anime and all this stuff had been closed off from majority of society, they kind of had leeway to get away with what they got away with. But now it's kind of like, well, we don't have to dress them all ridiculous. Maybe we could do something different. And they are. I'm just saying, like, regardless of whether or not you're a deviant or whatever, like, this isn't a case of them buckling down under the pressures of the social justice warriors. I think you guys are using that term and you're throwing it around, but you don't know what it means,
Exactly. That is absolutely the case.
Case in point, like look at Uncharted 4. There are people.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, there have been like video essays done on the Naughty Dog agenda and why it's so horrible, and it's like it's their original content first and foremost, so they're allowed to do whatever they want with it. But second of all, I mean, if you walked into The Last of Us 2 and you expected Ellie to be anything but a lesbian after Naughty Dog made it very clear for years beforehand that Ellie is a lesbian, that I still can't believe that they're.
Oh, trust me, they've screamed from the mountaintop. From the mountaintop stage. That's all they talk about. Actually,
I ain't gonna say that they ain't been like necessarily
ham fisting.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like it's something that was known, and yet you had people who actually got mad that she's with has a girlfriend in this game. Like, I don't get that. I really don't. I do understand to a point being frustrated. Like, my biggest thing with the whole thing isn't even that Ellie's a lesbian. My biggest thing is that Druckmann and company seem to want to talk more about that than they do like the game itself.
Fact. You don't know nothing.
But you know nothing about that game.
But in the end, that is their right. It's their original story. But like Uncharted 4, people keep trying to talk about the agenda that was forced in there, and it gets really ridiculous. I mean, they go down to they get as nitpicky as the fact that Nate had a daughter instead of a son. That's somehow a feminist agenda thing.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. There was even an article written up. I forget what website. I think it was the GG.com or net or whatever. But they actually agreed with you remember that infamous story about that tester that actually got mad and tossed his control and like freaked out on them because Nate had a daughter and they had to take him out of the building because he was like yelling about it.
What? Oh my God!
What?
Excuse me. No, you gotta
wait a minute. I have never heard of this. Are you serious?
Druckmann told it during I think it was PlayStation Experience. But yeah. That actually happened, and these guys wrote an article defending the dude who had that meltdown.
What?
And that it is kind of funny that someone who's as masculine a figure as Nathan Drake, wouldn't have a son, or at least at least one of each to keep both sides happy.
Because they can clearly control that one sperm.
You beat me to it because they can clearly just choose.
I guarantee. Oh my God, that is the dumbest thing I've heard.
It's a stupid myth, and sadly, a lot of dude bros believe it. But it's basically they think that the amount of testosterone that you have in you at any given time determines the sex of your children. So if you're like a more manly person, you'll produce sons, and if you're more
that's a lie.
If you're more of a soy boy, you'll produce girls. It's like
wow.
That was a straight lie, man.
Yeah,
rewrite the biology books, ladies and gentlemen. Rewrite them right now.
And Nadine, yeah, someone brought up Nadine, and yes, there was outrage about Nadine being voiced by Laura Bailey, which was dumb because it's a voice thing. But but no, the anti-SJW crowd absolutely despises Nadine, like flat out. Hates her. They make ridiculous comments about her too. Like, she's not a character; she's a statement, and all this stuff. And it's like, and it's because Nadine is a woman, and she managed to beat up Nathan Drake. And it's like she doesn't even beat up Nathan Drake in his prime. Nate is getting old. Nate is rusty. You have to keep in mind that when she fights him, she is a trained mercenary who's at the peak of physical fitness and physical prowess and has been trained in hand-to-hand combat, specifically how to kill people in hand-to-hand combat, whereas Nate's fighting experience is like barroom brawl type stuff.
Brawlers, yeah. The Uncharted 3 entry.
But
I mean, Nate did fight a whole army on his own.
I'm not saying that he's a slouch. I'm just saying that he's not, a trained killer. A lot of what he does happens to do with like getting the drop on people and everything else. But you got to keep in mind, Nadine is like a trained mercenary. She leads a group of trained mercenaries. In order to earn their respect, she's going to have to be at the top of her game. She inherited that company from her father after her father ran into the ground, and she wants to make it respectable again.
Right.
But she's been training since childhood. And again, Nate in Uncharted 4 has not done the whole treasure hunter thing for years. So he's a bit rusty. So, yeah, she's going to beat him. But even then, they say that, there's no way she should have beaten Nate and Sam together. And I can't help but remember that, she didn't. Because when Nate and Sam were both fighting her, they had the edge. The only reason Nadine started getting any kind of an edge in that fight is she managed to get Nate out that window. And then he had to climb on the outside of that building and find a way back in. And while she's fighting Sam, it was actually holding her at bay, Like, that was a pretty even fight when it was just the two of them. And then when Nate came back in, they won, that 2-on-1. So it's... That's the thing, though. Like, Nate does not, lose that fight. Sam does not lose that fight. Nobody loses that fight. She does. And they get the... but people get pissy about it because apparently she was able to put up any kind of a fight at all.
It's dumb. It seriously is. Like, context is key, and these guys don't... man. I can't believe he said a tester through his control and he was anchored. Oh, my God.
And like Nadine, honestly, is one of my favorite characters in that game, just because she isn't any kind of. If she was a statement, she'd be going on and on and on and on.
Yep, the patriarchy. They didn't want me in this role. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but no, she's there to do a job that she thinks is kind of stupid, working for someone that she thinks is kind of crazy, and she's open about that. And that's it. And when she sees an opportunity to get out, because guess what? He is crazy and he's willing to get everyone killed over it. She basically pulls a gun on him, ditches him in there with the Drake boys, and says, "You know what? You guys can finish each other off. I'm getting out of here." She was like one of the most sane people in that whole arrangement, and apparently because she doesn't get any kind of quote unquote comeuppance, even though she doesn't really need one or necessarily deserve one. She's supposedly a loose end and bad writing, and really it's just a bunch of insecure dudes who are mad that she managed to beat up a dude who's middle-aged and rusty. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up with Chloe.
Well, I mean, not really. Nah. I don't even want to get into the whole headcanon thing that people started trying to slap into me because but it's but people got mad what they did with Chloe too. Apparently, because they said before she was just Australian, and then they made her Indian Australian just so they could have this forced diversity thing. It's like, really?
I mean, not really at liberty to question how mixed she is. I mean she has a very exotic look.
Yeah, she's had that since Uncharted 2.
So I don't know, man. It's just all these sensitive dudes out there, really, just as bad as the SJWs, and I'm getting really sick. I am just as sick of dealing with them in gaming as I am the other.
Yep.
We stuck like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Sensible people.
Oh man, it's a mess.
It is, and it's so like I always say this. It's become a common phrase in my vocabulary, but this is the hill they really want to die on. Like, they're gonna die and boycott Mortal Kombat.
A lot of people been picking hills.
Yeah, people are gonna die on this hill of Mortal Kombat because they can't see virtual titties. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, on that.
And
one last thing. I do see a lot of people like to say too that when it comes to like the over sexualization of certain video game characters, including underage ones,
mm-hmm.
Just Japanese culture and everything, and that's how things are over there. One, most of these people don't know a thing about actual Japanese culture, and it shows. The only thing you know is from anime and video games. And number two, Case in point, look at what's happening with the Yakuza 3 remaster. When they took that what was it, that whole transgender quest line,
Yeah.
because they said that it was just needlessly mean-spirited and insulting, and Japanese culture has changed a lot since then, and it feels just out of place anyway. And it's like, and that is something that was done by the guy who created the game in the first place. It was a completely organic thing. And it's like, first of all, people throwing a fit about that, but then second of all, trying to blame companies over here, specifically Sony, for making them take that out. And it's like, they had nothing to do with that. That was Sega didn't even ask him to take it out. He made that choice to take it out. And it's like, Japanese culture is not what y'all seem to think it is. I really don't get this.
Unfortunately, these are the times.
Everybody's a know-it-all.
Mm-hmm.
A complete know. And as for the real quick about the thing I always laugh about, like when it comes to Mortal Kombat and they show a new character, yeah, you complain about their look, they don't like the outfits. I'm like, do you not know that one of the biggest themes of this game is customization? If you don't like how somebody looks from their default, you can change it. Jade is a Revenant in her default. You can switch her human. They showed one of her human looks. You can just change it. And it's like I find myself using that response almost every time. Almost every time they show a new female character, is somebody going, I don't like that. I don't like how she looks. I'm like, you can customize it. They're gonna have a lot of different looks. Why waste the energy? I don't understand wasting the energy complaining so much about it. And that's like, it's so easily fixed. And not, but now that I'm thinking about it, ever since a lot of video games started doing the whole thing of borrowing people's facial scans and creating models, or creating character models off of that, pre-existing character models, what I'm trying to say. It's always been some type of outburst with them, how they looking now compared to how they did. Case in point, Lady and Trish and Devil May Cry 5. Complete outrage about how they look compared to more of the
Oh God, I
how
almost
they
forgot
look.
about that. Oh
Yeah,
God.
about how, and compared to how they look in Devil May Cry 4, and people just act completely outraged. They don't like Trish. Thinking about Trish looks ugly. I was like, nah, I can guarantee. She's wearing the exact same outfit before. I'm like, I'm guaranteeing you're mad because now she can walk past somebody and not stab their eye out with her overly large chest. And then like the same thing with the same thing. I don't get why people complaining about Lady. I mean, it's not like she always had this breathtaking look. She just looked like the average woman, like that. So I don't really see. I mean, I think both of them look great with the do. Everybody looks great in Devil May Cry. I mean, the graphics are crazy. I dare say that they actually perfected that design technique more than Resident Evil 2 did. Because I lose track when I watch. I was like, man, this looks like a movie. And I know we get that a lot, but you can literally almost lose yourself and think, nah, this is live action. But yeah, but every time it's specifically with a female character, there's always some type of crazy outrage just because things have been reeled in a little bit, but with no malice intention. There's nobody forcing them. It just works. It's kind of weird how that works like that.
And unfortunately, these people ain't gonna go away. No matter how, I thought 2019 was gonna be a good year. I thought we were gonna leave these guys in the past, but these guys won't shut up, and it's just gonna keep going as their numbers grow larger. And I'm just like, whoa.
I mean, it's going to keep going until the game's released, and then they still get it, and then they be quiet because they realize they actually like the game.
Oh, you know that. They're still gonna buy the game and then tell you not to buy the game, and you know how they do.
They're gonna buy it, enjoy it, and then stop talking about it.
And then they'll come and they'll do their hot takes 8 months later when it's time for Game of the Year. They're like, "Was this game really worth Game of the Year? Here's 10 fundamental reasons why it's not. Number one, characters aren't attractive enough," and I'm gonna check out.
Yep, yep.
I'm gonna check out from that.
Oh
Did you?
man, that reminds
So,
me of Mass Effect Andromeda when
oh
of all the
god,
other problems in that game, I kept seeing like article after article complaining about how unsexy the women were in that game. Like that was actually the biggest beef with a lot of people for the longest time. Like not the other red flags. No, it's the women ain't sexy.
That just see, that just sounds sad. Like
Yep.
it's to the point that literally just sounds sad that you literally need that in your life. You cannot function unless I mean, I don't get it.
Salvation, yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Real quick, because I already hear Chris winding down. I'm gonna finish my thought up on this.
Yeah.
Since we just talking, since we were just talking about, that's just sad that if that particular thing, the sex appeal of a video game character, literally affects your ability to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of realized when that it's so weird even saying it, but when that they made that nude mod for Claire Redfield and the RE2 remake,
Uh-huh.
when you see it, it's just sad. it's
Yeah.
it's just sad that somebody felt that they had to. It's like it's just it not only was it sad, but because of how good the graphics are, it looks stupid actually.
It kind of is, bro. Like, I feel like they're perpetually stuck at the age of 15 where they think nude mods are cool, but in actuality, nobody should be getting turned on by this shit. Like, no.
Like they, it really looks stupid. Like, yeah, you got an in-depth nude mod, but I'm watching this cutscene of her out in the rain talking to Leon through the gate and stuff. I'm like, this looks stupid, yo.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, who?
saying this ain't it cheap.
It's like, who about to do a whole playthrough with this mod? Yeah. Who
Mhm.
really? I mean, how do you just not get tired of it? It's just done. That's when I realized that okay, I'm kind of old. I'm sure everybody's kind of indulged in the whole thing with the Lara Croft mod back in
Yep.
the Polygon days and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I mean, that time's over. It's like now with graphics being this good, now it just looks stupid. Yeah, but that's basically my final point on it.
Right. Got you.
Like, look, the final point though is like really, I'll say this much. I think the only reason that anyone's mad about the Mortal Kombat girls not looking like uber sexy or whatever is because like you said, most of these people they're probably never even gonna play with those characters. But the reason they wanted them in there like that is because, being blunt, they're waiting for someone to rip the models and stick them in Source Filmmaker to make porn out of them.
Oh God, yeah.
That's the sad truth.
Yeah, there's like a big community for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it occurs to me that we actually never even talked about the whole PS5 backwards compatibility.
Well, we got
Yeah.
something to talk to next time.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about next
Tease
time.
for next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Chris,
All
Chris,
right.
go ahead and bring it on. Man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another monthly installment of the NXP podcast. And I gotta say, it's only been let's see, one. Well, I don't really count the New Year special, but it's been 3 consecutive months since we've been doing this, man, and we have 2 of them so far for 2019. So I ain't gonna try to jinx shit yet, but I think we're on a roll. So far, it's looking like it's gonna be the last Saturday of the month. It might change, might fluctuate depending on things and schedules and stuff. But for next month's podcast, we're definitely going to discuss Kingdom Hearts 3. We're gonna have an in-depth talk about the Platinum Game situation, and of course, we'll be hearing more and more tricklings outside of E3, because when you think about it, E3 is just it's in less than freaking 4 months, you guys. That's insane when you think about it.
Wow, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time we reconvene, we'll be literally 3 months out, and it's gonna be interesting to talk about it. But
I
we'll
can't wait till Phil Spencer hosts the reveal of literally everyone else's games.
Oh God!
He's just gonna come out on everybody's stage.
Literally,
just stand there
with his 6 watches and his half-bitten lip and one side of the shirt untucked. You know how.
And he's always got to have that pinched finger when he gestures. That's his thing.
One hand in the pocket.
Yep.
That's how it is. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, signing off for Danny D's World, Rots 112, and myself. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this late night edition. This is so weird. I feel like we're on like the Late Show or something.
Oh God, it feels like it.
It definitely does.
Based on some of the rambling tonight, I think it kind of shows too.
Yeah. hey, we promised y'all a podcast a month, and we're definitely giving it to you. X gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you like I'm slurring my words. I can assure you, I have not had a sip of alcohol all evening.
hey, real quick. Didn't we like? When was the last time we went this long? Wasn't it the BVS roast?
Oh no, the BVS was like longer than that. We've only gone. This is only 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I mean how late we were. I remember almost falling asleep when we did BVS, and then we did the post roast. I almost fell asleep in the post.
BVS, I think we went until like almost 2 a.m. Was
it? I'm gonna go back and look at that, but that was our longest podcast. I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been that mad when we did one of these.
Yeah. I remember literally when I started to come down off the adrenaline, I started getting sleepy when we was doing the Q&A.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh God, we got
okay. Let me check. What happened?
We got to bump the Q&A this time again too.
Yeah, again, but it's alright.
What happened? I missed something. It kind of lagged.
No. It's this running joke that we keep saying we're gonna do the Q&A, but we end up going over and always gotta bump it.
True. Oh shoot, man. We'll do it every quarter. All right. So let's see. NXP. Our longest episode to date was. Okay. Let's see. All of them usually hover around 2.5 hours. Let's see. Post E3 was 3 hours.
Wow.
We had a ton.
Yeah, it was E3 2017, so it was 3 hours. Oh, our year-end special 2016 was 3 hours and 12 minutes. Wow, the post roast wasn't even the longest, but it was consecutive. It was back to back. So it was, bro, we were podcasting. Oh my God. So we did the podcast of Batman v Superman. That was 2.5 hours. Then we did the post roast. That was another 2.5 hours.
Wow. Yeah, because that was literally like right after we switched over to the post roast. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
5 hours. Oh
that's a good 5 hours, man.
We gotta do that again sometime.
Man, we gotta be that outraged. Hey, maybe when we review Endgame. we just marathon stream.
Marathon stream, and then we just looking back, we're like, man.
That'd be funny.
And then join us as we connect every single Easter egg we just realized was in the movie live.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, you guys, we out.
Peace.
See ya.